introduce to you all our session moderator. Of course, this would be moderated by Mr. Amarjeet Singh Chandiok, the President in Seoul, India. Well, welcoming Mr. Chandiok shortly on the screen. So with that, of course, as you can see, our esteemed panelists taking up the virtual stage. Allow me to please firstly welcome Ms. Veena Relly, the Organizing Secretary, Samadhan, the Delhi High Court Mediation and Conciliation Center. Well, to talk about Ms. Veena, well, despite being a lawyer practicing mainly in the original side and doing commercial practice, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? She's especially known for helping parties in family and matrimonial disputes, which I'm sure we all would agree that's considered the most challenging jurisdiction in any court. Of course, more so when we talk about mediation, where emotions especially run high, right? Well, her Midas touch that's known with people of all ages has in fact become very legendary in the Delhi High Court. Warm welcome to you, Ms. Veena. And with that, allow me to also warmly welcome onto the virtual stage Honorable Justice Geeta Mittal, the former Chief Justice, High Court, Jammu and Kashmir, and former Acting Chief Justice and Judge, High Court of Delhi. Warm welcome to you, Honorable Justice Mittal. Well, talking about her, presently she divides her time between being a chairperson of the Broadcasting Contents Complaints Council. She is truly a force to reckon with, and over the course of her illustrious career, delegates, Honorable Justice Mittal has presided over several jurisdictions, including the PIL matters, the original side, the company appeals, if we talk about also the criminal appeals involving life and death references and more. Very hearty to be greeting you, ma'am. And with that, let's welcome Mr. Ashok Bharat, the founder, Moats Business Advisor LLP. Well, Mr. Bharat recently retired as the Managing Director and the Chief Executive Officer of Forbes and Company. And he's someone who's passionate about the cause of promoting mediation as the most favored alternate dispute resolution mechanism of choice in the business community. Warm welcome to you as well, Mr. Bharat. And with that, allow me to warmly welcome up next, Rajneesh Jaswal, the General Counsel. Well, Rajneesh, known for his pragmatism in business and of course his ability to get the things done. Rajneesh, during his successful spells at major international organizations such as GE India, MasterCard, he's worked on a large number of in fact, a large number of large transactions, I should say, like a $1 billion deal and more. Well, leading a team of 5 now, Rajneesh is focused on making the legal department more agile and making sure, right in quotes, that, business happens. So welcoming you, Rajneesh. And with that, allow me to also, welcome Priyanka Kalra, the partner Kalra and Krishnan, Priyanka is skilled in dispute resolution, M&A, ADR, legal advice, and commercial litigation. Strong entrepreneurship professional with a master's degree that's been focused in the international trade law and from the University of Essex, UK. And with that, allow me to say and extend our gratitude on behalf of Legal Era to our session sponsor, that's Madhyam. And with that, Mr. Chandiok, if you are all set, well, you opened the Congress today with your synergistic appeal. So I'm now handing over the strings of the conversation with the panel right up to you. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shikha, so much. It's a great honor for me to be moderating a panel which has my Chief Justice once upon a time where we used to probably rub our shoulders together in the corridors of the High Court, and then she got elevated for a proud moment for us. I also had the privilege to be standing here or sitting here today with our secretary, who is today managing one of the best centers of the, I call it word, and I'll make good during the session if it makes good, which is Veena. And of course, this Geeta Mittal has a large role to play in this center. And I also have the privilege to have a friend, Mr. Ashok, who inspired us, in fact, I must say, with as and when I met him and probably went to Bombay with him to see how we establish a center in Bombay. And I think it's a very proud moment for all of us to see that he has committed himself to this cause and finds that mediation is the most popular as also the most cost-effective structured process by which we can bring solutions to the conflicting world. And we have a person with us, Mr. Rajneesh, who has himself a co-founder of an ODR, who would tell us what are the challenges and what are the shortcomings to it, of course, from others saying. And of course, Priyanka to tell us, how do you take this forward in the new, especially the world of economics and the people who are now concerned with our business community. Let me start this with the Honorable Chief Justice. The Lordship has been responsible for making this Delhi High Court and Samadhan as one of the best mediation centers in the country and the world. Then the Lordship took mediation along with you went to J&K. The efforts that the Lordship put therein to bring mediation to conflicting situations are well known to all. May I request your Lordships to tell the audience how mediation has progressed under your command from Delhi and J&K, and what are the future aspects of this that we should learn to take it forward. Over to you.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chandyok, sir. Thank you to the organizers for organizing this very, very interesting program. I'm very impressed with the layout and the kind of experts that you have been able to associate over the several weeks of your program. So congratulations, and I hope to follow it in the future as well. I'm told this is not the first, you've done it many times over. I can imagine the effort that you have put in. Second, a correction. I did nothing to contribute to Samadhan. It was already there. And I call Mr. Chandyok the father of the mediation. Madras would like to take the credit for, and many there say so-and-so is the father in the field of mediation and there, but the center, which is the liveliest, which is running most efficiently, which is contributing the maximum to the field of mediation, which has carried the country to the heights which it has achieved so far, is only because of the efforts which were put in by Mr. Chandyok, who was assisted very ably by J.P. Singh, Sadhana Ramachandran, Veena Rally, whom we have here, and the lawyers in the Delhi High Court, who was so progressive and so encouraging. So all that I did was facilitate their efforts a little more in the little role that I could perform as a Chief Justice. Now to talk about mediation and an online dispute resolution mechanism in Jammu and Kashmir. Before we get into this discussion, I need to point out that unlike arbitration, mediation is evolving by itself. It is evolving under the rules which different high courts, which different players, different organizations are framing for the manner in which their court annex mediation centers or private mediation centers would run. Unfortunately, till date, we've not been able to arrive at a consensus or get a proper legislation which would provide the format, the structure, the methodology, the manner of training, the outlines of a training program, accreditation, regulation, etc. So this leaves a huge vacuum, within the mediation program as it is, and I'm sure the more experienced speakers after me who are on this panel will be able to shed much light on it. But the commitment of the Indian state to the process of mediation, the recognition which it stands accorded, is by the fact that India is a signatory amongst the 53 countries who signed the Singapore Convention, just a year and a half, a little over a year and a half ago. We are awaiting the legislation. We are amongst the 2 or 3 SAARC countries who have signed the convention, and we hope that we will have the legislation, to which also I'm told Mr. Chandiok has contributed, and several other experts across the country, Sriram Panchuji, Leila Ollapalli, Uma, and several others have contributed with their ideas and their enthusiasm and the positive encouragement. So mediation, without the challenges which the COVID-19 pandemic threw at all of us, as it is, was unstructured, evolving, and guided by the principles and the rules framed by various high courts. Into this came the pandemic, and while a lot of institutions came to a grinding halt, but courts could not. Access to justice is an essential service. I requested the government of Jammu and Kashmir to call it so and enable the courts to open and provide service. We had to shift to the online mechanism, hook, line, and sinker. Fortunately in Kashmir, we had the outlines of a program, because the Jammu and Kashmir High Court of Jammu and Kashmir has 2 benches, where we have a bench in Jammu and we have a bench in Srinagar, and they run full time. Often the number of judges was so less that if more than one judge recused himself from hearing a particular matter in, say, Srinagar, then to constitute a bench which could hear the matter, I had to use one judge sitting in Srinagar and the other in Jammu. So we already had the hints of an online program in place when COVID-19 came to us. So, but the challenge in Jammu and Kashmir was that the restrictions of the pandemic were coupled with restrictions on account of security concerns espoused by the government of India. And we had access to only the 2G platform throughout the period of the pandemic till very recently, which made online programs even more challenging. For instance, a court hearing would be conducted by me often using every possible kind of a phone. I would have somebody joining on the net, on the online access. I would have somebody on a WhatsApp connection. One of the parties would be calling in to my secretary's office on a landline. Somebody would be calling in on a regular mobile on my secretary's phone. So often I would have 6 to 10 instruments open at the same time, depending on the number of parties. If you had, say, 10 parties, 10 different phone instruments or technical instruments available open before me to conduct even a court hearing. In these challenges, to encourage mediation, the process of mediation was itself a Herculean task. But I have been able to do so. Mediation was in the rudimentary stages in Kashmir when I joined there. I actively encouraged and commenced with training. I had training experts. I had Beena Rally, Sadhna, and several other. Mr. Chandiok also came and assisted me with the trainings in Jammu as well as Srinagar, as well as the different districts. I even brought in a mediation expert from the Singapore International Mediation Center. Many of you would have heard of Aloysius Go. He traveled all the way to Srinagar to participate in one of the trainings. This was not only to train to encourage the development of mediation, but was to give an exposure to the local lawyers and local judges about the acceptability of the program and about how essential it was as a dispute resolution mechanism, how much peace it brought into the community and how it helped bring a quick resolution to disputes. Even where disputes were not resolved, it made parties develop the communication, which skills are so inherent and an integral part of the mediation process. And even if they don't settle the dispute, at least they go out, leave the mediation center, the mediation room, feeling that they can communicate with each other. So what the specific question which Mr. Chandiok has asked me is as to what I could do in Jammu and Kashmir. I encourage setting up of mediation centers in almost all districts. I extensively held mediation training, bringing in lawyers and judges from all the 22 districts of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh into Jammu and Srinagar, and took in trainers from across, from wherever I could. Maximum help was from Samadhan, Delhi being the closest to Jammu and Kashmir. Unfortunately, what we would have liked to have done, was made very difficult because of the pandemic situations. But we were the first people, I would say the first High Court where we did online dispute resolution. We attempted mediation. When I appointed Veena Rally as a mediator in one of the cases which was before me in the High Court of Jammu and Kashmir, and she actually conducted a mediation in a matrimonial proceeding sitting in Delhi while the parties were in Jammu and Kashmir. And I think this was the first online effort which was made in mediation during the pandemic. Thereafter, I think Samadhan is doing mediation, online mediation in a very, very big way. But what we lose in the online mediation does require a physical presence, because the body language of the parties, the emotion which is released during the mediation process, we lose out on these two very, very integral parts of mediation. But I think I've taken a lot of time, Mr. Chandyok, and I think I should let you move on to the next
Thank you, Chief Justice. Thank you for your
in this question. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Mr. Ashok Baraj, you have been responsible for establishing a mediation center in Bombay, the Bombay Chamber of Commerce. What's your experience between a dispute between people who are knowledgeable or educated and people who are a little uneducated in reference to their response to mediation, and how you'll be able to resolve it and the challenges that you have faced?
Thank you very much, Chandyok Saab. I'm glad that you have asked me this question, but let me just go back a little bit in history. So the thought of having Bombay Chamber take the lead in resolving disputes through mediation was conceived in the year 2011, 2012 when I was the president, because we used to often get complaints from our members. And I'm talking of a chamber which is not just the oldest chamber of commerce in India, but if you take its membership, it probably contributes to 60% of India's GDP. So we are talking of very, very knowledgeable people. It took us a long time to get the center going. And in fact, two interesting anecdotes, which I would say, just to illustrate that those who take up this crusade should be prepared to carry the cross over long distance. One is the fact that when we were seeking accreditation from the Mumbai High Court, I would still recall Chandyok Saab, the then CJ wanted to see what our real credentials were and where had we learned the art of mediation. And you flew down to Bombay for a day. It was pouring, the lift in the Bombay High Court was not working, and you climbed up all the way just to present and say that ye hamara shagird hai. That was a turning point in which we got the center going. And Veena ji, I don't know whether you're aware, in order to prepare the project report which the board of Bombay Chamber could approve, I spent 1.5 days at Samadhan like a student. And and therefore a lot of our model was created on that. So therefore, I'm not only, it's not only been a challenge, but many people in this call have been deeply instrumental in creating the center of mediation, and I'm very grateful for that. It's been almost 5 years now that the center has been running, but we have faced a lot of challenges. The first intuitive feeling would be that if you are dealing with corporates, because we deal only with commercial disputes, it would be so easy. People would immediately respond to the need for a mediation by using their business judgment and business wisdom. And unless a very intricate point of law is involved, why the hell should they go through this entire process of litigation? But surprisingly, it doesn't work that way. And if I were to see the resistance, I would put it into two boxes. And pardon my candor on this. One box relates to bias and self-interest related arguments. And the other one relates to ignorance and fear. So let me take each one of them. The bias and self-interest is predominantly, and our biggest problem has been to convince the general counsels of the firm, of the companies, that this is a good way forward. The party autonomy, in the moment it moves in mediation to the business head or the profit center head who's paying for the litigation ultimately. And therefore, it tends to marginalize the role of the legal department and the general counsel. But unfortunately, you can go to the CEO or the head of that business only through the general counsel. And unless that bias is removed, and unless that self-interest of being in charge of a process is removed, we are unable to achieve success. In fact, our first fear was that the practicing lawyers would be our biggest problem, because they would think that it is a loss of revenue or whatever it is, or a revenue opportunity. In fact, our experience has been quite the opposite. In fact, we have far greater acceptance and far greater support from the members of the bar than from the general counsels of the company, because it takes away their power, it takes away their territory. So this is a very, very, unfortunately, a very powerful obstacle that we have to contend with. And you'll be surprised that, in fact, when we have a multiple number of, we have all kinds of corporates as our members. We have big corporations, private corporations, listed corporations. We have a very large base of SMEs. SMEs, where the owners take the decision of whether to pursue the litigation or at least give the option of going through the mediation, the SMEs take that decision much faster. So we find a large number of disputes which get settled where the two parties are SMEs, because the two owners act on business sense. But the moment it becomes a David versus Goliath, the first thing that you would expect is that the large organization will show the grace and say that we will go through the process of mediation. It does not happen. So this is the first very big challenge that we face. The second one is ignorance and fear related. So let me divide this into two parts. The fear is that, unfortunately, mediation, in the absence of a law, and since it's still evolving, is many people still hold it as synonymous with a compromise, as if I have conceded defeat. And this mindset is particularly true when one of the parties is actually a government party. And therefore, the whole process of going through a mediation, if the connotation of that is that it's a compromise or a defeat, it's impossible to go through the barrier of getting them onto the table. But I must say that some of the agencies in the government have now started realizing, and some of the people who are the head of those departments have taken a much bigger risk, if I would say, given the current circumstances, of agreeing to mediation. But this fear factor is a very big thing. The other one is on ignorance. And I was surprised that most of the people, when they talk about mediation, they're worried that in the mediation, because of the heat of the emotion, etc., as Madam Geeta Mittalji just now said, always mediations tend to generate a lot of emotion. You may end up disclosing things, you may end up promising things, you may end up offering things, and if it doesn't work out, it may be used later on as a weapon against you. And there is a huge amount of ignorance that what is said in a mediation stays there and it cannot be used as an evidence. I think this evangelization and removing of some of these misconceptions, that there is a compulsion once you walked into the room to have a settlement, that anything that you say may become public, that it may be used against you. I think there is a great need for actually evangelizing this, educating this, and I therefore miss no opportunity in coming and speaking in these places, because I'm sure that there are many delegates even attending this who may be very knowledgeable, but probably would be suffering from the same misgivings and fears. So to sum up, Chandyok Saab, it has been a very tough journey. And I don't think we have seen the end of it yet, but we are gradually getting there. And I hope that if the law comes, the very fact that there is a law that defines mediation will help assuaging a lot of fears. But the psychological element of fear, mistrust, ignorance, self-interest, I think we can only overcome through popularizing it, reaching a certain amount of scale, and using forums like these to reassure people that it is nothing but a win-win. You lose nothing by going through the process, which is a very short process. If it works, it is wonderful. If it doesn't work, nothing has been lost. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ashok. This is good to see how your perspective is. Veena, before I go to others who have actually been co-founder of the ODR platform, may I request you to tell us, in the audience, in fact, what are the shortcomings that you found that you're running a mediation, one of the best mediation centers today, with respect to between physical and ODR, and what are the disadvantages that you found?
Thank you, sir, giving me an opportunity to speak on this topic. You know, it's a big challenge for me speaking in front of our Chief Justice, Geeta Mittal, who has brought the Samadhan Center at a level where we are today. There has been a lot of progress during her tenure as a chairperson of the Samadhan and thereafter as the Chief Justice. And then speaking in front of Mr. Chandiok, who had a larger vision at that point of time to involve lawyers as mediators. It was a big challenge at that point of time. It continues to be so. It is a big challenge for me today to speak in front of him. But whatever I have learned in this whole process of 15 years of my journey as a mediation, I would just like to share some certain things which are really very importantly required to be looked at. Let us just have a look at this thing, and my dear panelists who are also from running their centers, I would like to share this view with them. See, what is mediation? Mediation is not just talking to each other, as Justice Geeta Mittal just now pointed out. It is a bundle of emotions also it carries with the parties who are before you. It is a scientific process. It's a philosophy. And in traditional way of mediation, what was required was to sit face to face with your opponent, vent out, deal with the emotions, and not only the dispute, which is basically a manifestation of the conflict between the parties. This is a process which gives the parties an opportunity to look at the conflict, its causes, and then deal with it and transform it into resolution. And for this, what is required is negotiation skills and communication techniques. Now, at that point of time, when we were sitting face to face with the parties, helping them to resolve their issues, there was one challenge which we were facing at that point of time was to get all the parties on board who were located on different locations miles away from the center. Of course, at that point of time, with the larger vision of our Chief Justice at that point of time, we got a video conferencing facility having two locations outside our center and third location inside the center. And we could communicate with people, those who could not travel to the center. So we tried to bridge this gap at that point of time. But now, with this onset of pandemic, the online mediation, which was being talked a lot during that time, and then as we were managing in our video conferencing room, getting into the line whether my matter will be taken up first or the other mediator will follow me, we were thrust upon this with this ODR at that point of time. Of course, there were a lot of challenges because parties were facing difficulties. They could not reach courts, and mediation was found to be the most appropriate key to resolution of the disputes between the parties. So what was thrust upon us today, we have to see whether it has really worked well in helping parties to resolve their disputes, or there are still certain challenges. I would like to say that today we are successfully dealing with all the type of disputes where even emotions run high and parties are in a position to vent out because of the secured web meeting rooms provided to us by the center, by the High Court. On a click of a button, you can arrange a caucus and you can put all those people who are not required for that particular meeting outside the caucus room, that is web waiting room. And that person can do certain things while sitting in his comfort zone of his office or his home. And he is not getting disturbed like he sits when he sits outside the room, physically outside the mediation room, and feels that I do not know what is being talked, because here he can do something or he can attend to his personal work when he's sitting in his office or his home. But what was important at that point of time was that to have effective communication, we should have good devices, good connectivity, and of course, good knowledge to use technology. So this was the challenge we faced, but we met with this challenge because we equipped our mediators and we trained our mediators. But at the same time, there are certain disadvantages attached to the technology. And the first one is that technology is not a mirror image of the physical meetings between the parties. Parties sometimes feel the distance between them and they are not very comfortable talking on technology, and they're always very skeptical about the confidentiality part because they say that whatever I talk, somebody may record. So what is important is it also imposes, you can say, electronic distance. So parties are never comfortable on this. And of course, some parties always felt that I cannot speak about my emotions, how I felt in this whole issue of conflict. I'm not comfortable speaking with my opponent on this virtual mode. So this was the challenge from the point of view of the parties, but there was another challenge from the point of view of the mediators also. Because mediator is supposed to use those communication techniques, and verbal communication is just 7%. Rest 93% is either demeanor and the attitude. How to deal with that spoken language coupled with something which is not spoken. So that of course has been a challenge, but I must tell that all the trained mediators, if they use all their negotiation and communication techniques and be vigilant on the screens, how the parties are behaving, this can also be taken care of by skilled mediators by using their skills of using not only mediation skills, but even technology. So it is possible to handle all types of disputes online. But there has been one casualty, and that is confidentiality. Confidentiality because despite the fact that you inform the parties that this process is confidential and you should not try to record anything, and sometimes you can't even be sure who else is sitting in the room. But with your experience as a mediator, the movement of the eyes of the parties sometimes tell you that somebody is there in that room. And keep reminding them that this process is confidential. And in the beginning, it is always very important to get them to give an undertaking that they will maintain confidentiality. So despite the fact that they make any recordings or they break the process of confidentiality, they may not be able to use this confidentiality. They may not be able to use the information which is shared during the process of mediation in anywhere else before any court or proceedings. So to meet this challenge, we just need to hone our skills, not only on the process of mediation, but also we must keep in mind how to use technology, keeping in mind all the nuances of mediation so that the parties go happily and with comfort that whatever they have been able to achieve here, that will remain confidential. One important aspect with regard to one aspect, sir, I would
directly to Rajneesh first, because the challenge is because he's also a co-founder of an online platform. Apart from being a legal head in corporate world, what do you think of this challenge to be met on an online platform, according to you, Rajneesh?
Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. As you said, I have the unique perspective of being a user of online services, as well as somebody who's running an institute by ourselves. I run something known as CADR. CADR is an online dispute resolution platform which specializes in online arbitration. But thanks to Sehmati, we are also pivoting towards mediations as well. So as I said, my perspective is on both sides. Speaking from the perspective of a legal head of corporations, I think mediation has enormous scope. Today, with the online world, reputation management is extremely important for corporates. And most consumers today are upset, and if they are upset with services, they will go online and they will go to LinkedIn, they will go to Facebook and so on and so forth and went out. The cost of litigation, as Mr. Bharat said, of course, can be sort of measured, but the cost of online reputation loss can never be measured. It is in those scenarios that mediation can really help. How can mediation become an extension of customer care? How can mediation help the company as well as a disgruntled customer arrive at a solution which is mutually beneficial? And once that answer is found, and there is a lot of scope for mediation, right? Once they're able to do that, companies will save money clearly. It becomes a process which is not legal, but it is an extension of customer care. And that solved Mr. Bharat's problem as well. Access to customer care is much better, to the head of customer care or the CEO is much better than access to the legal heads. And I think legal heads will also find some solace in mediation and online arbitrations. Today, with shrinking legal budgets, that's one, the delays which are present in the court systems. I think online means and online arbitrations and online mediations are going to be the way to go. Disputes will never go away, and they will only in fact multiply. And with businesses being online, with transactions being online, they will also become more complex. You will never be able to understand whether a contract was signed in Delhi or a Bangalore or a Mumbai. Where is the situs of the, which court you should go to. So an online mediation, online arbitration scenario works perfectly well. Budgets are shrinking. You need smaller teams. You need specific folks. If things are online with curated rooms, as Mr. Ali said, Or you could have confidentiality, you could store documentation. Your legal team does not need to travel from office to courts and come back and spend time. Rather, everything is done online. So from that perspective, I think the scope of mediation, online arbitration is immense. And some of the challenges I think on this side are typically, first is technology. You sort of tend to lose, especially in mediation and not so much in arbitration, the ability to read nuances of body language and confidentiality and things like that. Being the founder of an ODR institution, we also understand that technology can be a barrier as well. And a simple scenario could be, for example, a motorcycle loan, small value loan of 60, 70, 80,000 rupees. You want to run it. I mean, there is a dispute. It's not been paid. It goes into either a mediation or an arbitration. How does the financing company will surely be able to afford a Zoom room or etc. But how will somebody on the other side who's anyways defaulted on a motorcycle loan going to get a smartphone and get into some of these closed rooms and conferences? So that's one challenge. The other challenge is for mediators and arbitrators to be trained in online ways, in using online tools. We found that as a challenge in our ODR platform. But apart from that, I think the third one is also understanding businesses, and especially for corporates. When you are trying to mediate the dispute between a disgruntled customer and the company, you will have to understand what the perspective the company is coming from and the perspective the customer is coming from, and find the solution. And for that, you need to have adequate knowledge of business, commerce, some of the new age businesses. As I said, again, I'll go back to an example. Loans today are disbursed online. There is no paperwork. So does a online mediator understand what an agreement is, how a digital agreement is signed? How do you verify what a digital agreement looks like? I think the most common thing we've seen is people consider a digital agreement as take a PDF and paste something on it. A digital agreement has to have all of those nice things with a pen drive and things. So it is that kind of stuff and that kind of training which needs to go into mediators. We are encouraged, the efforts of Justice Mittal and Samadhan in Delhi. And both of them, J&K and Samadhan, are great examples for us at Cadre while we are devising our own systems. And we think that's the way to go. I mean, irrespective of the pandemic, this is democratizing justice. This is taking it to the masses. This is providing, as somebody, I think Justice Mittal said, the emotional venting out, whether you're a customer or whether you are a family member. This is going to help you, and it has real value for corporates as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rajneesh. Priyanka, may I take you to see how do you look at that the compulsory stage of mediation? You are with me? Yeah. How will you in your settlement of dispute process in the corporate sector?
Sir, as we were talking about technology,
compulsory mediation in the statute, for example, in Commercial Courts Act, as necessary for every dispute that we should do.
So thank you very much for this opportunity. It's been very interesting listening to everyone here, this esteemed panel. My sense of mediation is that it is indeed an ancient process of solving and resolving disputes. In that sense, we understand mediation very well. From to the panchayats, this is how we've traditionally been resolving disputes. So therefore, now with the, and also as everybody's been pointing out with the technology, it has its plus and minuses. Yes, I quite agree. I see the merit of the online dispute resolution mechanism now with the pandemic high. We have actually been forced to shift onto virtual hearing, virtual courts, and that I think is quite helpful in understanding and resolving the way we should look at mediation, the way we should approach alternate dispute resolution mechanism. Mediation as such, we've all seen how our Arbitration Act, our Commercial Courts Act, how everyone has been trying to push for mediation as the most preferred dispute resolution mechanism. However, taking a leaf out of Singapore, as we've seen, Singapore has now, in effect, it has a mediation act. It has the convention that ma'am mentioned, that India is also saying. That has actually helped everybody in, it's kind of been very helpful that Singapore has actually put mediation on the map of alternate dispute resolution. It has also shown a great success rate in there. The way it has integrated mediation with arbitration, they call it the ARB-Med-ARB, where the parties, when they initiate arbitration, can actually go in for mediation. And that mediation agreement, once the party reach an agreement, can also form a bilateral award. And therefore, the enforcement issue is taken out, the big challenge of enforcement. India has been following this. I think the way forward for all of us should be, as there is also Supreme Court also looking at establishing a code of conduct for the mediators, and that, I suppose, should resolve for the acceptability issue. Pandemic has had its disadvantages, but the big merit of the pandemic has been that everyone's now comfortable with virtual presentations, virtual working, and therefore it is how we take it forward. The enforceability is greatly solved, and so basically, my view would be to have it as a preferred mechanism by providing and establishing a uniform and efficient framework where to enforce the settlement of any dispute through mediation. You have the dedicated mediation center, you have.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. I thought I'll probably have more time to ask more questions, but looking at the time given to us, I'm already run out of time. Thank you, each one of you panelists, and I'm only looking forward the legislature looks at the need for a mediation act, which is already pending with them, and they'll probably bring an ordinance or probably an enactment soon. Thank you, each one of you. Thank you, the Honorable Chief Justice, Mr. Shobhraj, and Veena, Rajneesh, Priyanka, for your inputs. It's a very important subject, and let me put it to Akriti on my own personal behalf, that mediation is actually, you need to hold a conference probably for a week on this mediation, because today the aspects that we are looking at, the disputes that we are looking at in the society today, especially in the business world, are enormous. And I'm sure, as I said in the opening remarks in the beginning of today's conference, that today these situations are different. We have to probably rewrite our contracts with the changing circumstances. And there could be a possibility that mediation could be utilized or a mediator can be handy. But yes, I have some people in the mediation who probably feel that the basic structure of law is not required. I beg to differ with them, because today the complexities of situations are so great that unless I have the fundamentals clear, as a mediator, I will not be able to assist and facilitate the parties. Thank you on behalf of Legal Era. Thank you on behalf of Madhyam. Thank you on my personal behalf to be given me this honor to moderate this session. Thank you so much. Shikha, over to you now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chandiok, and to the entire panel there for some very worthwhile insights related to the topic. Thank you very, very much, ma'am, and everybody else.